Sustainable investing has become a mega trend in investments worldwide, premised on the fundamental belief that traditional investing, balanced with environmental, social and governance or ESG risk management integration, provides enhanced long-term outcomes for investors and communities at large. The industry is rethinking what is meant by good returns. Sustainable investing and ESG risk management is certainly not a new topic of conversation in South Africa. It has been widely cited in Regulation 28 of the Pension Funds Act, the Code for Responsible Investment in South Africa, of course also CRISA 2, King 4, and the Principles for Responsible Investing, or the PRI, to name but a few. This conversation has, however, ignited in recent years and has been further fueled by the hardships of COVID-19 and its far-reaching impacts. Empirical research shows that investing sustainably not only has an expected positive effect on outperformance and alpha generation, but also reduces the probability of permanent capital losses. Asset owners are encouraged to put the necessary pressure on asset managers to bring pressure to bear on investee companies in turn to rapidly progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. There are a total of 17 SDGs adopted by the United Nations, which as a whole provide a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet for now and into the future. When we evaluate sustainable investing practices, we need to evaluate the alignment with and the impact on the SDGs. What is very vital to remember is that the 17 SDGs are all connected and interrelated, and we should remain acutely aware of any unintended consequences. Negative screening or outright exclusions may well lead to further unintended consequences, and as such, we prefer engagement over exclusion. SAMECA supports a just transition to a low-carbon and a client-resilient economy. On the topic of climate change, the conversation and the awareness have gained significant momentum in the investment community in the past few years. Now, although daunting, sustainable investing is not a topic to be perceived as some unachievable conquest. Each step in the right direction is valuable and is very impactful. Fundamentally, we believe that there are some non-negotiables. In fact, all asset owners, which is Board of Trustees, Management Committees, Investment Committees, they need to place the full force of their weight on asset managers and asset allocators to ensure that underlying investee companies are thoroughly engaged and interrogated. It is vital for asset managers and allocators to ensure that all investee companies are taking active steps to improve outcome towards the SDGs. This effectively means that these considerations should be included in their strategies, their key performance indicators, and their remuneration structures. Asset managers are expected to provide this feedback to asset owners as evidence of their active stewardship. Furthermore, it is vital for asset managers and allocators to vote at annual general meetings. Proxy voting is necessary to drive actual change within investee companies and ensure that the appropriate individuals are at the helms of businesses and boards to drive strategy, to ensure that the correct KPIs and remuneration structures are in place, and to ensure that the improvement of outcomes in line with the SDGs is ingrained into business practices. Abstention should be the exception and certainly not the rule. These aspects are, however, qualitative and quite reactive in nature from an asset owner perspective. Unfortunately, quantitative methodologies have not been widely adopted by the industry to determine the effectiveness and the suitability of asset managers' sustainable investing practices. We would argue that quant insights on ESG integration is essential in manager and asset selection, both domestically and offshore. Within South Africa, there are no clear direction and obligation on how the industry collectively and accurately assesses asset managers based on their sustainable investing practices from a quantitative perspective, and therefore collective insights are largely unavailable. Quant metrics may allow asset owners to fundamentally integrate ESG risk management into their investment strategy portfolio construction methodology. Although not the only reason for integrating ESG considerations into portfolio construction, it is highly probable that the moral suasion may encourage faster adoption of sustainable investing practices among asset managers. ESG ratings of companies are derived by third-party rating agencies according to their own proprietary methodology, criteria, and processes. And as such, there's no standardization for ESG risk management ratings in the industry. Now, even if we recognize and accept the subjectivity and the variances in the ESG rating agency scores, these quant scores are useful when proactively engaging asset managers on ESG risks. As such, asset owners will be able to interrogate asset managers through these quantitative ESG lenses based on underlying holdings. It is also useful when evaluating ESG risk management trends in portfolios over time, and we would expect a positive trend for asset managers who actively manage and engage on ESG risks in the portfolio. From an asset owner perspective, although qualitative metrics have largely been used to assess sustainable investing practices and stewardship, it is imperative that quantitative techniques be adopted. Firstly, in order to evaluate accurately and engage with purpose, and secondly, as a means of integrating ESG considerations into investment strategy construction. Although noteworthy progress has been made, we still have a long way to go as we progress on the SDGs for a sustainable future. Gone are the days of investing to only make a monetary return. Our money can and should also realize an intrinsic and sustainable return to society at large for future generations to come.